By the end of this video, you will know how to create an advanced plot system to automatically assign players to a plot in your Roblox game. To get started, we need to create some plots. All I'll do is add in a little base part here, and I'm going to scale it down as thin as it can go, or a little bit thinner, just so it's not 0. And then I will scale it outwards and just make a plot size. This is going to be a plot. I'm sure you're familiar about plots if you're watching this video. If not, think of it like a tycoon system, when you have different plots that the players can start in and build their tycoon from. So with that, let's now adjust this plot, and we want to add a spawn location into it. So I'll just give it a color, and every plot needs a spawn. We're not going to use a spawn location because then any player can spawn in it. We're just going to use a custom part. So I'll add a part in, and I will make this my spawn here. I'll rename this extra part to spawn. Okay, so I've slightly improved my plot design. I've got a plot base plate, which I've just named plot base, which is that part we've created. This isn't actually on the floor as well. Let me put that on the floor. I've got a spawn part, which is just a small part here, and I'm going to set the transparency to 1 so that we cannot see it. I've also set can collide to false, so the player can walk through it. They can't even know it's there. I've also created this little sign. So I've got a sign part, which is going to display the owner's name of the plot. And I've also got this posts model, which just has these 4 posts in for the sign. It's just my design. I'm now going to select everything. So the posts, the plot base, the sign, and the spawn. Right click, and I'm going to group this as a model. I'll call this plot A. I'm going to have a few plots. Inside each plot, we need an object value. So add an object value into the plot. This object value will just hold the object, the player, that owns the plot. So I'll rename this to owner. Okay, and on the sign, I'm going to add in a surface GUI with a text label. Now, I just want to make sure that the text label displays on the right face. At the minute, it's on the wrong one. So I'll click on the surface GUI, and I will change the face property from front to back for me, but it may be a different one for you. It depends on the orientation of your part. So play around with the faces until you have the one that you need. I'm then going to go to the text label. And I'll set the size to 1, 0, 1, 0, so 1, 1 on the scale, 0, 0 on the offset. And that takes up the whole size. I'll just design this now. There we go. So I've now got this name label in here. So I've added a text label, renamed it to name label. And all I've done with the text label is the size is 1010, like we said. The text I've just set to John Doe's plot for now. I've given it a little color, UI stroke here with a contextual thickness of 10. And that's about it, and here are the font settings. I'll now close up the sign and the plot A. I'm going to remove the default spawn location in the game because we don't need this anymore. So remove the default spawn location if you have one. And let's add some of these plots. So I'll now duplicate plot A and make a plot B. And then I'll do the same for plot C, and I'll get back to you once I've made a bunch of plots. Okay, so I now have 6 plots. I'm just going to rename these. So I've got a plot A, this one will be plot B, then I'll have a plot C, and so on. Just make sure they're all a slightly different name. Now let's group these all into a folder. So add a folder into the workspace and rename it to plots. I'm now going to put every single plot into this plots folder, and this will allow us to recognize what a plot actually is when we do the scripting. And talking of the scripting, let's get straight into it. So into server script service, let's add a module script. And we're going to rename this to Plot Manager. We're going to handle this in a module script because it's the most optimized way of doing this. Rather than having multiple server scripts or one large server script handling every plot, let's just put it all in a module. It makes the most sense. So the first thing we're going to do is rename this module table to Plot Manager. I think that makes the most sense. And then we will return the Plot Manager. We're not actually going to populate the table, but we're going to keep it because we want to assign some methods to it. So the first thing we want to do is write a function which is going to get an available plot. So it will loop through every plot in our folder, and if it doesn't have an owner, we're going to return it because it's an available plot. That way we can know what plots are actually available. So function plot manager :get available plot. Now we have to do plot manager, make sure this is spelt the same as your table. Because we return that, it's the only way we can access it. So that's why I've still declared it up here. Although we're not using it as a table, we still reference the table so we can assign functions to it. Because otherwise we have no way of referencing it. I'm using colon get available plot and not dot get available plot. Because the most simple reason is when you type, it will give you predictive keyword text. Whereas if you use a dot, it most likely won't. But there are more like object-oriented reasons. But for now, let's just stick with the colon, keep it simple. We're going to loop through each plot. So for underscore comma plot in iPairs, and we need all the plots. So let's create plots. So we need the plots folder, which is in the workspace. Local plots folder equals workspace, colon, wait for child. And this, we're going to wait for plots. And we're going to loop through every plot. So for underscore comma plot in iPairs, plots do. But we don't actually have the plots. So let's get the plots. Local plots equals plots folder, colon, get children. Now we're going to check if the owner in the plot is nil. If the value is nil, that means there is no owner. So if plot.owner.value is equal to nil, then we will return that plot. Otherwise, at the very end, we will return nil. Okay, the next function we need to write will assign a plot to a player. So let's say function plot manager, colon, and I'll call this one assign plot. And we're going to pass through the player who we want to assign the plot to. We'll say local plot is going to be equal to self, colon, get available plot. And this will get the first available plot inside of the plots folder. If there is no plot, so if not plot, then we will return nil and end because we can't assign a plot. Realistically, you will never have more players than you have plots, or you shouldn't do. Make sure you go to File, Experience Settings, and then you need to change the max players. So you can go to Places, find your place, hit Configure Place, and you can change the maximum number of players. I'd put the maximum as the number of plots you have. Otherwise, not every player is going to have a plot, of course. Once we've loaded the plot, we're going to update the owner value. So we'll say plot.owner.value is going to be equal to the player. And then we can update the sign label. So let's say local sign is equal to, and we know that's under plot, colon, find first child sign. If the sign exists, so if there is a sign, and sign, colon, find first child surface GUI. Now make sure your capitalization is correct or this will not work. Then, so if the sign exists and the sign has a surface GUI, then we're going to update that GUI. So local GUI is sign.surface GUI. And then we can just say if GUI colon find first child, and we're after that name label. Is I believe what I called it. I think it was name label. Yes, name label. Then we will update the name label. So GUI.namelabel.text is equal to the player name, player.name, ... and then I'll add apostrophe s plot to say it's their plot. Now at the end we will return the plot. Now we need to spawn the player inside of the plot, but before we can do that we need to make sure the plot has actually been assigned on the client, and we need to make sure it's finished assigning. We can't just quickly call this function and then we'll call the function to spawn the player on the plot, because if this code hasn't finished running and then we go to assign the player to the plot, well, if they haven't actually been set to the owner just yet, it's not going to work and the timing may be off. The best way of doing this is using some sort of bindable event. So at the top, I'm going to, under our plots, create a local plot assigned, and this is going to be bindable event. So instance.new bindable event, and this will just be fired whenever a plot gets assigned to a player, just so that we know a plot has finished being assigned and we are ready to spawn that player into that plot. So we'll just say, before we return the plot in this assign plot method, we'll say plot assigned, colon fire, passing through the player. Now, before we wait for this event and actually do anything with it, we need to write a method to get a player's plot, which you'll see why in a minute. So we'll just write this out and I'll explain it in a second. So function plot manager, colon get plot, passing through the player. For underscore comma plot in iPairs plots do if plot.owner.value is equal to the player, then we will return that plot. If not, at the very end we will return nil. What this method does is loops through every plot. If the owner of that plot is equal to the player who we want to find their plot, we will return that plot. Otherwise we'll return nil because they don't have a plot. If they don't have a plot, then we're going to have another function plot manager, colon wait for plot, passing through the player. And if they don't have a plot, so while not self colon get plot passing through the player. So while they don't have a plot is what this is doing, then we're going to wait for that event. Plot assigned dot event colon wait. And then once this is finished, we can say return self colon get plot player. And this will wait for the player to finish getting assigned a plot. And then when it finishes getting assigned a plot, we are going to return the plot the player was assigned. Alright, the only other function we need then is to spawn the player at their spawn position. Function plot manager colon get spawn C frame. And we're going to pass through the player. First thing we need to do is get the player's plot. So say local plot equals self colon get plot passing through the player. If plot is not equal to nil, then, because if they don't have a plot, we're returning nil. If they do, we're returning that plot. Then we will return plot colon find first child, and we want to find their spawn. Now make sure if you have a spawn part in the plot, which you have to for them to spawn, make sure it's just named spawn with an uppercase S. If it's named anything else, you need to put that name in this string literal here. And plot.spawn .c frame with an uppercase C and an uppercase F plus vector3 dot new, and we're going to put in a 0, a 1 and a 0, and this will just spawn them. Actually, I'll do a 3, and this will return the position, the C frame position of the spawn part in the plot, and we're just going to add 3 studs in the Y direction just so they don't spawn inside of the plot. Otherwise we will return nil. Okay, I believe that's it for the plot manager script, so let's close that. And now let's add a script into server script service, which I will rename to plot handler. Now the first thing we need to do in here is of course get the plot manager. So local plot manager equals require, and we need server script service. So local server script service equals game, and on get service server script service, and we're going to require server script service dot plot manager. And we always have to use require when handling module scripts. Now, whenever the player is added, we need to assign a method to that event. So local players equals game colon get service players. And then we can say players dot player added colon connect function passing through the player that joined the game. I will use PLR for short, just to not confuse player with players. And then we'll get their plot. Local plot equals plot manager colon get plot passing through the player. Oh, sorry, this should be assigned plot. We want to assign them a plot. If they can't be assigned a plot, so if not plot, then we'll just put a warning in the output saying there are no available plots for the player, and I'll display their player name as well. Now, whenever their character loads in, we want to teleport it to the spawn at their plot. The best way of doing this, we can assign a character added event. So player.character added colon connect function passing through the character, or I'll use char for short. Now let's get their C frame at the spawn location. Local spawn C frame equals plot manager colon get spawn C frame passing through the player. Now I'll say if there is a spawn C frame, then local HRP, which stands for humanoid root part, equals char or character colon wait for child humanoid root part. Every avatar has a humanoid root part, and all the other parts are attached to that part. So if you move the humanoid root part, you move the entire character. So all we want to do is change the C frame of the humanoid root part to the C frame of the spawn, and that will move the entire character there. Make sure you do H, R, and P as uppercase for humanoid root part. We're going to say HRP.CFrame equals spawn C frame. Okay, I think that's everything. If I now press play on one character, it spawns me inside of a plot, and if I walk outside of it, it says it's my plot, and all the others don't seem to be assigned. You could change the text to say unassigned plot rather than John Doe's plot. In fact, let me do that. So I'll go over to all the name labels, and rather than having John Doe's plot, I will say unassigned, and I'll put that in every single label just to make sure it's completely clear. Now if I go to server and clients to test and put in maybe 4, this will take a while to load up. But when it does load up, you can now see my plot's assigned, player 3's plot is assigned, player 2, player 1, and then these two are unassigned. And now if we add someone new, so if I change this, if I go to this button here and add one person, this person joins and they get added to a new plot, plot 5. Perfect. So I can now stop this. But just a quick note, during editing I did think of something. So when a player leaves, their plot will not go back to unassigned. But all I will do is inside of the plot handler, I'm going to say players dot player removing colon connect function. I'm going to get their plot, which will be plot manager colon assign plot, passing through the player. If there is no plot, then it doesn't matter. So if not plot, then we'll turn end. So I will say plot.owner.value going to be nil. Then we're just going to, in our plot manager, you just need to reset the plot. So I'll create a function, the plot manager, colon, reset plot. I'll actually pass through the player in here. So then rather than setting the owner value in here to say plot manager, colon, reset plot, passing through that player. I'll copy these two lines and cut them, go into our plot manager and paste them in plot manager. Now rather than this being plot manager, this will be self. Now I'll copy all of this code from the assign plot function, paste it in. We'll set the owner value to nil. The sign, we're going to set the name label to be vacant again. Or unassigned, I think I had the text as. Yes, unassigned. And I'm going to, the plot assigned, don't need to fire that. And we don't need to return anything either. So just calling this reset plot method and adding this code should do the trick. So let's give this a go. I'm going to test this on 2 clients here. So in the reset plot, we don't want to use assign plot, we want to use get plot. Because get plot is what gets the plot, not assign plot. So let's try that again. Okay, so now if player 2 leaves, their plot goes back to unassigned, and if I add in a new client, as they load in, you can see they take over that plot there. You can ignore these, this is just to do with Studio. That's it then, you now have a working plot system. That's the very basics. We've used a module script to make it completely optimized. This is completely reusable now. You can use this in any script you want, and our actual server script that handles this is only 19 lines long. If you found this video helpful, if you did, please leave a like and subscribe for more tutorials. We have a Discord server, which you can find the link to in the description, where you can ask for programming help, help others, or just chat there. You can also leave feedback on our videos and channel. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.